covering excuse number 2. And it's a pretty short chapter, so we're going to have lots of time for discussion. So hopefully you guys are ready and willing to give some of your input. Again, like Angie talked about last week, you don't have to talk, you don't have to share your thoughts or give any input, but if you want to, it is more than welcome. So I'm just going to summarize the chapter briefly, and then we'll just have some discussion about it, okay? So excuse number 2 is I'm not a goal-oriented person. And she talks about in here about how some people think it's just not their thing. They think, oh, I just wasn't born that way. It's just not how I'm wired. Some people are into that whole personal growth thing, and I'm not, which is something that I kind of thought before. Like, honestly, before Plexus, when I would hear about personal growth books or things like that, I kind of would just kind of laugh it off and think that was something that I never would need or would want to do or whatever. And thankfully, my mind has been changed on that. But she says when people say, oh, I wasn't born that way or whatever, she's like, yeah, I totally get that, because, you didn't come into the world already if you didn't already come into the world having mastered something, then it wasn't meant to be yours. And she's like, things like walking and speaking and eating solid foods without choking to death, driving a car, spelling, using a computer, all that just came naturally, right? You didn't have to learn all that, right? And so, she's kind of poking fun at, just because you're not born that way or you don't feel like that's your thing, you can be a goal-oriented person, even if you never thought that you were before. She talks about how finding your goal and focusing on it and learning how to work towards it is possible for everyone. And basically, she talks about how everybody has dreams. Everyone has things that we hope for, that we dream about, that we want for our lives. And even though some of us don't want to admit it, or it's hard for some people to admit it, and she says those wishes that you have are your dreams, but a goal is a dream that you've decided to make reality. It's a dream that you've decided to work towards and claim and decide that that's what you're going to have. So it's kind of just a step further from dreaming. And so she also talks about how you have to plan and you have to work towards those goals. You can't just hope that something is going to happen. You can't just have this dream and just hope that it's going to happen. It's going to take some work and a plan in order to be successful. And you have to believe it. You have to believe that it's possible, and you have to believe in yourself that you can do it in order for it to become reality. She tells a story on page 18 about a woman that had gone to their first RISE conference, and she interviewed this woman afterwards, and she was shocked that this woman said basically she never knew that she could even have a goal. Like, she's a mom, she's a wife, and she never really even considered focusing on something for herself. And like I said, Rachel was shocked because she's a super goal-oriented person, and she'd never given any thought to the fact that someone might actually not be, or might not actually, have those goals for themselves, or value themselves enough to do something for themselves versus for somebody else. She talks about how growth is happiness. Having something to work towards gives you purpose, and achieving those goals or those milestones, even if they're small, really gives us that obviously sense of accomplishment and pride. So that is the chapter in a nutshell. What did that take? 5 minutes? So I want to, if anybody wants to share, I'll start. So before Plexus, how many of you guys actually set goals? I have never been one to set goals. I have always been a hard worker, and I guess had big dreams, but I never would set like concrete goals. Like, I want this happened by this time and this is what I'm going to do to get there. I never did that before Plexus. Brooke says in the chat, she says half-heartedly, so not really. So she would half-heartedly, set a goal, but not really put a whole lot of thought into it. And that's kind of how I was. I knew what I wanted to accomplish, but I never really mapped out a plan or, said I want this goal by this date, or was really ever very clear about what my goals were. Angie says she's always been very goal driven. I knew that about her. And when I was asking this question or when I was reading this chapter, I was like, oh, Angie, this is totally, Angie is completely goal oriented. So even now she's very good at setting goals and timelines and, the plan to get there. Alicia says that she was not a goal person either. Plexus has opened her up so much. So anybody else? Jeff says he had worked for things but never seen it as a goal. So that's kind of how I was too. I would always work really hard but not really set a goal. So I want to talk about some goals then tonight. We've got 20 some minutes left still. So who has set their next Plexus goal? Does anyone want to share what their next Plexus goal is? Okay, so Laura says gold for April, and Alicia says earning the gold retreat. Those are awesome goals. Okay, so does anybody want to share out loud what your next Plexus goal is, and maybe when you want to hit it by, and if you have any kind of plan of action for it?
My next Plexus goal is to go diamond in April of 2019, which is starting tomorrow. So I have a few plans. You guys might hear a few things on a call tomorrow. And that's my kid doing dishes right there. Sorry. But yeah, that's my goal. It's exciting, scary, all at the same time.
Okay, can you say the beginning again?
Diamond in April of 2019.
Woohoo! So I actually had my computer muted. So I thought that's what you said, but I wanted to hear it. I always forget to unmute the sound when I get on calls. Super exciting goal. Like she said, we have a plan mapped out for that. My goal is Sapphire in April 2019. So Brooke and Erin and I have mapped out a plan for that, and you may hear more about it soon. So, all right. Who else? Does anybody have, maybe what about convention goals? Who has set a goal for convention? Okay, guys, if you have not set goals, then you need to start setting them, right? That's what Rachel's telling us. It's important to set those goals so you have something to work towards and something to drive you. I think Kim was going to share something though.
Yes, I was. I would, of course, like winner's dinner for a convention. That's my goal, to get to that. And senior gold by convention.
Awesome. So do you have a plan mapped out? Do you know kind of, how many people you need to add or what you need to do to get winner's dinner? How many people you need to add each month to get to senior gold? Are those things that you've thought about?
Yes, I do. I was planning it out earlier.
Awesome. So that's also something she talks about in this chapter. So setting the goal is great, but you've got to set a plan to make that goal successful, to actually earn that. I love those goals, Kim. Sorry, looking at the chat. All right, so, I just did something. Or did, Brooke, are you doing like screen share or something? Okay, I think she fixed it. I thought I did that. Okay. Sorry. Winner's dinner for Laura. So if you guys have not mapped out a plan of how to get there, what you need to do to get to these goals, ask one of us. Ask Brooke, Erin, or I. Erin's really the numbers gal, but the other two of us could probably help you try to map out what you need to get to those goals. And then Angie, Sapphire by July, and retiring her hubby by 2020. Awesome stuff. And I'm sure that Angie has it all mapped out exactly what needs to be done. Okay. Anybody else? Or any other take homes that you had from this chapter? Jeff wants to go silver by the end of April. Exciting. He says it's going to be an awesome month. It is going to be an awesome month. I agree. Lots of exciting stuff coming. Nobody else has anything to share. What about who hit a big goal this month? I think Laura said she signed up. Did I see? She just signed up number 6, so she got the iPad. Alicia, I think, just got the iPad today as well. Yes, so she just said she went silver and earned an iPad, and this is her first month. So huge congrats to Alicia. So the big thing too with goal setting, so you reach that goal, you celebrate that goal, and then you set another goal, right? You've got to always be propelling yourself forward. Take some time to enjoy that and celebrate it, but then don't forget to look to the next goal. Yes, Jillian says senior goal and iPad. She got both of those this month. Angie says her team helped her with earning the grand prize for convention. She got an iPad and re-ranked in the month after her rank up. So she ranked up to Emerald in February and maintained rank this month, which is awesome. Sometimes it's hard to maintain after that first month. All right, let's see. Jeff says he broke through his fears and became himself. That was his first goal. That is an awesome goal. I find that the more me I am, the more, authentic and vulnerable I am, the more, it appeals to people, the more that, people trust you and want to join you and, trust in what you're doing. So that's awesome. All right, guys. Well, if nobody else has anything to share, that's really all I had. It was a really super short chapter. I think we might, if there's other short ones, we might combine some of them in the future, but we hadn't planned to do that, so we didn't want to spring an extra chapter on you guys without giving you a heads up. So that is all that I had. Does anybody have anything else? Any takeaways from this chapter? Any thoughts, any goals, any celebrations from this month? All right, well then I am gonna let you guys go early then. That's all we've got. Talk to you guys later.